and the girls from the hotel who were working the front desk like start yelling at us, and they're like, "Don't let them leave." One time I fell on my moped in Vietnam. I was by myself. Phone had no service.
Hey friends, welcome to the Made to Move podcast. Today we've got a really awesome guest, Tristen Ikaika. He's done everything from starting crazy companies, going on Shark Tank, and it all started by really traveling the world. And today we really talk about how he got started in travel. What was that first trip like? What his favorite things are, how he's still traveling, and some real good nuggets in there. So let's get into it.
So you've been traveling for a really long time.
Yes.
Like your post started in like 2013, mostly in like Hawaii. And like, is that how you got started? But I want to know the first time you traveled without your family outside of the U.S.
Yeah.
What was that trip?
Yeah, that trip was Europe in February of 2017. I was a senior in high school. That is really the trip that kicked off all my travels. Yeah.
And how did that come about? How did you get the idea to do that? Who did you do it with? What? Because I think that the challenge most people have is, I want to go to Europe.
Yeah, I want to travel.
It's the dream. How did you do that? How did you make it happen?
Yeah, so I had a friend named Indy. She's the best. Like, if she wouldn't have reached out to me to go on this trip, I don't know if or when I ever would have started traveling. So I'm like forever grateful to her for that. But she had texted me and be like, "Hey, there's flights to Paris or to Milan for $400. Like, do you want to go?" And I was a senior in high school. My dad was really sick. But it kind of gave me this lens of like, you just live life now, because like you never know. And so I was like, you know what, like I'm just going to do it. And this was, I think, November when we booked the tickets, which is another piece of advice I think is good, is if you book the plane tickets early, by the time the trip comes, like that money's already gone. You don't think about that, you know, it's just like, oh, free flight. You don't feel it as much. But she asked me if I wanted to go. I said yes. We were so broke, like had no money. This is kind of when Instagram was taking off, and like I honestly hadn't seen a single Instagrammer like collaborate with the hotel. I thought it was only a thing that like really big bloggers that like I had never seen do. But we just had this idea of like, let's reach out to every hotel, like companies here, and just ask them if we can take their product and shoot it in Europe, and like they'll pay us. And we'll ask hotels if like we can shoot their hotel and post about it and like get it for free. And I had maybe like 10,000 followers, which isn't nothing, but it was in 2017. So like, you know, it was decent. And we just hustled our asses off to like be able to afford this trip, like in the 3 months that we had before it came. And like we reached out to like Thread and like a bunch of people. I think Thread gave us like $400, which like at the time I was like, oh, that
like,
covers
what?
so much
Your
of
whole
the
flight.
trip. Yeah, literally. And
That's rad.
like just things like that to be able to afford it. Like I had no money. And I think booking the flight, you also like force yourself, okay, I have to figure it out because the trip is coming up. And that was really like the first time it ever, you know, it all began, I guess.
So did you know the people at Thread when you did that?
No, not at all.
Really?
Like,
So
we
that's like what
emailed
started it?
So many companies, so many hotels. Like I probably emailed every hotel I could find in Rome. Like, and some of them ignored me. Some of them said straight up said no. But like our mindset was like, we just need one to say yes, and we ended up finding it. And
dude, it's so rad. What do you think? So obviously that was what, 6 years ago? What's my math?
Wow.
So do you think that's still possible today?
I don't know. It's interesting because I'm going to Paris on Friday, and I tried like reaching out to some hotels, and they were so like cold shoulder.
Oh, I bet.
And I'm way bigger than I was back then, but I think a lot of people have maybe ruined the like
because they
hotel
came and just
influencing game.
Totally.
Yeah. Like they just, you know, like we'll post, and then they came and maybe a couple of them got burned, and so they're like, you know, we're just not doing that anymore. Like we don't need that. So yeah, I don't know if it still works like it did back then, but I know there are hotels that still like work with people, or like Airbnbs. Like if you held the gun to my head, like I would hustle to figure it out, you know?
For sure. Dude, 100%. It's crazy as we've been interviewing people how easy it actually is. Like obviously it's hard to email everybody, but it's not like I don't know, you can figure it out. Like you
Totally.
can find it and you can like find those deals. Do you have any like, are you finding deals anymore on flights or anything like that?
Oh yeah, all the time. Like I just use a couple of the like flight subscription. Like I love the flights from home or the Pomelo flights. Like those are the main two I use. It's like what, $20 a year. It's not much.
Yeah.
And they just email you the flight deals. It's funny though because I used to be like the flight's the most expensive part, and now I'm like, no, the flight is sometimes the cheapest part.
For
Like,
sure.
I found flights from Salt Lake to Paris direct flight for like $640. Like
So sick.
it's really cheap.
Yeah, that's not bad at all.
Yeah.
For 6 years ago, it's pretty similar.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
Double. It's double. Literally double.
Yeah.
But it's still not bad.
yeah.
We literally found round trip. Again, this was like 5 years ago, but we did round trip to Bali for $450
From Salt Lake.
from Salt Lake.
That's crazy.
Yeah. Actually,
From LA.
it was from LA.
Oh.
It was from LA.
Yeah.
But still.
Yeah.
And I think our flights were like less than $100 to LA.
Yeah, that's crazy.
I forgot that they not as cool.
Yeah. I mean, like the flights come like sometimes you look them up. Like I looked it up the other day, and the same flight we're on was like $3,000. So the price fluctuates. You just gotta like grab it when it's down.
Totally. I think that's like the big part is it's the same with like buying clothes or like thrifting or whatever.
Yeah.
If you go trying to thrift a t-shirt,
Yeah.
like a specific color, whatever, a purple t-shirt,
Yeah.
you're never going to find the right one.
Yeah.
But if you go thrifting looking for something that's awesome, you're going to have a bunch.
Yeah.
So I think too, like keeping it open, like keeping these flights open, like once there's a deal, you just do that.
Yeah.
Versus like, I'm going to wait for a flight to Japan.
Yeah. Or like hold that. Yeah. If you do want to go to Japan, like wait for it. And the second you see it, like jump
Just
on it
book on
now.
For
Yeah.
sure. So I want to go back to that first trip.
Yeah.
So it was just you and Indy?
It was me, Indy, and our friend Sarah. There's three
Sarah?
of us. Yeah.
And how long did you go?
We went for like, I want to say like 10 to 12 days, maybe.
Rad. And jumped to a bunch of different countries.
Yeah, we did Milan, Rome, Venice, Verona, Paris. Yeah.
So sick. What do you think of Paris? I feel like that's a pretty...
Some people hate it. They're like, it's such a dirty city. It's so overhyped. And I'm like, yeah, it's only as fun as you are. Like,
100%.
you just told me everything I need to know about you.
Dude, that's
I
actually
love it.
rad.
Like, I think it's so fun.
Dude, we've been... So my sister lived in southern France.
Yeah.
So we'd fly into Paris, and then we'd spend like a week there, and
Yeah.
then head down and hang out with my sister.
Yeah.
And we loved it.
Yeah.
Like, Paris is so sick. We were even vegan at the time, so we couldn't even have most of the good food and whatever there.
Yeah.
And it was... I don't know. We like had such a great time. Like everybody was
Yeah.
so nice and it was awesome.
Oh, I
Rented
didn't get
bikes,
the nice
rode
people,
around.
but
You didn't?
I feel like the French hate Americans.
Well, we had kids with us.
Oh,
I think
gotcha.
that's the difference.
Yeah.
Is everybody's nice.
like we literally would be like, should we fake British accents so they're like slightly nicer to us?
Dude, that's a
And
good
sometimes
tip.
we did. It's kind of
You
fun.
did?
It's like, oh, hello, can we get this?
Where are you from?
Oh, Manchester. Like, that's the other fun part of traveling is like you could be whoever you want.
Whoever. Dude, that's rad.
Yeah.
So then after that, angry guys out there.
Yikes, the French.
The French, dude,
it's a
they're
joke.
here.
It's a joke.
So after that, what were your thoughts after that trip? You came home. Were you like, I'm tired, or were you like booking another trip immediately?
No, like even just the first night we got there, we got in super late. Well, not super late, maybe like 10 p.m. And we had a dinner at the hotel we were going to. So we literally like changed in the airport bathroom from like our sweats into like something more presentable. We get to this hotel and we have like a sit down dinner with like the PR manager of the hotel.
Oh, because you work this deal with them.
Yeah, and the hotel that we ended up getting a deal with was the Townhouse Galleria in Milan, which like, have you been to Milan?
Mm-mm.
There's like the Duomo, like the famous church looking thing, and right next to it is like this mall that's like super famous. It's like all the designer stores are in there, and there's a hotel on the top level, and like some sites will say like it's like one of the 7-star hotels in the world. Like it's so nice. And we are just like sitting there like they're gonna find out and like kick us out. Like we just had the biggest imposter syndrome. Like we don't deserve to be here.
Yeah.
But like we had something that they obviously wanted, and
For sure.
so we had dinner with them, and then we were wide awake because we were so jet lagged. So we're like, oh, let's just go like run around the mall. So like India and Sarah put on these like fancy dresses, and I just had this like black button up shirt, and we just went and like ran around that mall because it's like, have you seen the pictures of it?
I don't think so.
Anyways, it's just like these
massive.
marble floors and like it's stunning. And just like running around that night was like, I can't even explain the magic feeling that I was feeling. And then the next morning, like we wake up in that balcony and like you see the whole city going, and your mind is just open in ways that it can't be opened otherwise. Like you see all these people living their life and you're like, wait, this happens every day. And I'm like in Orem, Utah, having no clue about any of this. And then like people's way of life and their beliefs, and like it's so normal, but you don't, like, it just opens your mind. And that was like the feeling that was so addicting. And I'm like, I just want to feel moments like this like all the time. And I think that's where I really got addicted to the magic of traveling.
Dude, 100%. The first time I left the U.S., I went to India.
Yeah. Wow. What a crazy first trip.
Yeah, like I went to Canada and stuff, but the first time I like left this culture was India. And so I don't know, like I was like 25 at the time, so I was old enough to know better, but I don't know what I thought of the rest of the world at the time. I just didn't really think about it. I was just in my own world. But once I went, I was like, whoa, it's just like a bunch of people living here.
Yeah.
Like this is just their life.
So many people.
Oh, and especially in India. It's insane.
It's like you're in a National Geographic magazine. It's like the only way I know how to explain it.
I wish that I want to go back now. I don't think I could convince Jules, my wife, to ever go back. Yeah. Well, she didn't go. But,
what did you guys go for? Just for fun?
I worked for an eyewear company at the time, and we opened an eye clinic there.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, so it was rad. So the first like 5 days, we opened the eye clinic, and I made a whole video about that. And then the next 5 days, we just rallied around the country and like.
Wow.
But the 6th day is when I got super bad food poisoning.
Every time I've gone to India, I've gotten sick.
Have you gone multiple times?
3 times.
What?
Yeah.
Dude, what?
Sick every time.
So I want to go back now mainly because I like stories a lot.
Yeah.
And everywhere you look is a story in India.
Totally, yeah.
Why did you go back?
I was working with a nonprofit, and they had invited me back on like these humanitarian trips. So I did 3 with them. And I just remembered like the first time being there, it was like the craziest feeling. Like the streets are insane. There's like a herd of cows walk by, and then like 4 people on a moped, like so many people.
So sick.
Streets so crowded. And I remember talking to like one of the people who we were with who lived in India, and I was like, so like what do Indians, I think. What do they believe like religiously? Because I always find that super fascinating everywhere I go, like religious beliefs, what they believe about like the afterlife, or like what they do with like the dead.
Oh, interesting.
And she was telling me about like reincarnation, how like your goal is to like live your best life, and then like in the next life you'll be reincarnated into something higher or lower based off of, don't quote me on that, but I'm pretty sure that's right.
I think it's, from my understanding, it's pretty close.
Like growing up Christian in America, that concept sounds like crazy. You're like, that's like you believe in the next life you'll be like a fly, or you'll be like a carpenter. Like it sounds so foreign to our minds, I think. But then I realize I'm like, because she asked me the question back, and I'm like, my beliefs sound just as crazy to you.
Totally.
And that's what I think is like, I had a big like wake up like spiritually. It's like whatever you believe is true, because nothing can be like proven or disproven. And this is like a whole different topic, but it's like, yeah, that's just where people find comfort. And like there's stories like that where like my mind would have never been opened like that had I not gone to India and seen these people living their lives and all this stuff. And
dude, that's so rad.
It's such a cool feeling.
Did you go through any like temples and get the chalk and stuff?
No, we didn't.
We went, I don't know why we did it, but we got a tour through this temple, and they put like lays on us,
cool.
like lay looking things. They obviously called it something different.
Yeah.
And we had like the chalk, like
the third eye. Yeah.
And it was like, I didn't know what they were saying. Nobody spoke English in that whole country.
Yeah.
Like it was very rare for anyone to speak English. So most of the time we were just trying to figure it out. But it was like so magical to me. It's like, whoa, this is like, I don't know, spiritual, you know, more spiritual than I felt in churches here, honestly.
Yeah,
like it was like
I agree.
A special thing.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I feel
pretty crazy. Well, before we get too deep into it, I want to jump into the quiz.
Okay.
Pop quiz time.
Let's do it.
Get nervous because these are hard.
I'm not afraid.
All right, you ready?
Ready.
Do you have your phone? Do you want to write these down so you know or I can write them down, I guess.
Yeah.
So you know your answers.
Yes.
Because I know you cheat.
No,
So-
I've never cheated in my whole
Yeah,
life.
here, you can write it
Okay.
down. All right. Question number
I'm just
1.
writing down my answers.
Yeah, just your answers. 'Cause I
Okay.
have the questions and answer over here.
Okay.
Which country is the setting for The Sound of Music?
Am I supposed to say it or write it?
You could say it and write it.
Switzerland.
I'm not going to tell you. Sorry.
Okay.
I'll tell. We'll go over the answers at the very end.
Okay.
Should have said that before.
Okay.
So you didn't get
That's
your hopes
okay.
up.
If I'm wrong there, it probably is. These are probably all trick questions.
Dude, that's not a trick question.
Okay.
Which country's passport is considered the most powerful because citizens can visit over 190 destinations visa-free?
My instinct wants to say like somewhere in the UK or Canada. So I'm going to go with, or is it the US? Gosh. You know what? Team USA. I'm going USA. It's going to be England. I promise.
All right, third. The opposite. Which country has the weakest passport because citizens only have 27 visa-free destinations?
Well, I'm sure the weakest is, well, they probably don't even have, I was going to say North Korea, but
That's
they probably
true.
don't even have a
They
passport.
probably don't have passports.
I'm going to say maybe, oh gosh, this is like a setup. I know India, the visas are super strict. I would also guess like in the Middle East, maybe. I don't know if that's bad to say.
You could do it.
I'm going to say like, I'm going to say India.
Okay. All right, number 4. Which U.S. airport has the worst TSA wait time? Good line.
Oh, interesting. I'm just going to say Detroit.
Okay.
I don't know why I went to the airport and it was like a disaster.
The worst.
Okay.
And then the opposite, which U.S. airport has the best TSA wait time?
I'm going to say Atlanta. I don't know
Okay.
why. Just instinct.
Honestly, the Atlanta airport is pretty rad.
I've never been to it. It
You
just
haven't?
like sounded right.
Well, it's like such a hub. I feel like
Yeah.
it's like
I don't
I
think I've
feel
ever
like
been
I've
there.
been there like 5 times.
Is
and I
that
don't
the
even-
only questions?
5
Okay.
questions. That's it.
I probably got 1 of 5.
They also-
I'm confident in 1 of 5.
These questions, I did not double check,
Okay.
which is part of the fun. I feel like.
Perfect. Okay.
So
yeah.
these, I feel
Only
like-
God knows.
Yeah, only God. When we go to a temple in India, we'll get a feeling that
Yes, we will
these
ask.
are
Where
true.
was Sound of Music filmed? Please tell me.
So a quick break. You might be thinking, whoa, this podcast is really awesome. How do I support it? And we don't do channel sponsors. The main thing is by going on graveltravel.com, checking out the products that we created for you guys to make travel easier. And if you're listening before like mid-December, we still have some pretty crazy holiday sales going on. We have travel blankets that pack down tiny but get huge. We have toiletry bags that can pack all your essentials but kind of keep them all separated. And a bunch of other stuff at great deals. So go check it out on graveltravel.com. Back to the podcast.
All right, so now I want to go into your best and worst travel experiences.
Okay.
I feel like worst are sometimes easier to
best.
remember
Oh.
and honestly turn into best long term.
Yeah.
But are also like all of my worst ones stick out in my mind and I love them now.
Yeah.
Is there 1 or 2 that stick out in your mind that you're like, these are unique, crazy experiences?
For
worst.
For worst, yes.
Yeah. What? Yeah. Get into it. What are they?
Okay, the first time is when we like almost didn't make it out of the Philippines.
Okay.
And the second time, I have this list in my phone of the most tired I've ever been in my life. And this one night when we were in Bali comes to mind, and it was just like shit show day. So the first time we were in El Nido in the Philippines. It's like
Okay.
this random island that like a lot of like tourists go to vacation. And I was with a group of 21 people. And the girl booking the hotel had decided that if she put 8 people on the reservation, it was significantly cheaper than if she put all 21. Like when you added guests, it started getting more expensive, which is how hotels work.
Mhm.
But for whatever reason, she decided like she was just going to try to get away with paying less, make the trip cheaper for everyone. And I don't recommend this, and I don't think it's ethical, but like it's just what happened. And so like checking into the hotel was literally like we were in the Disney Channel. Like everyone was outside waiting. 2 people went up to the desk, and like while they had like gotten the keys, and they were like, you only have 8 people, right? Like they were kind of strict on it. So they're like distracting them, like literally like hitting the lamp and like doing the most. And while they're there, there's just like the desk, the people working, and everyone else with all their bags like going up on these stairs behind them, as you can see through the glass, like sneaking in the door on the 2nd floor. Just like madness. So we're there for like maybe 4 nights. Like every time we'd like sneak in that door. And then when we went to leave, we like snuck out again, got in these tuk-tuks across the street, and the girls from the hotel who were working the front desk like start yelling at us, and they're like, I don't know, it was in like Filipino, so I don't know what they were saying, but basically they were like, don't let them leave. And like we're telling our tuk-tuk drivers like, go, like I'll pay you double. And they're like, no, like they're like trying to go back and forth, and we're like, just leave, like you cannot.
Oh, that's so good.
And basically some of our group ended up going to the front desk, and they were like, they had like all their security footage and like proof that we had more than 8 people in the rooms, and they like literally were gonna send the police to the airport to like stop us from leaving,
because the tuk-tuk driver did end up driving away.
Yeah, we're like, we're paying you, not her, go. Like it was literally like I was in The Amazing Race. And
That's so
I'm not proud of
random.
it, but like it just, you know, as along with a group along for the ride, and like that memory was just like one I will never forget.
Oh,
like,
it's
the stress
so
in our
good.
heart of like yelling at the driver and like texting the group chat like, guys, you gotta get out, like they're coming, they're onto us. That one, or like anytime.
Wait, why did they wait till you were gonna check out? I feel like that was
I
the
don't
worst
know.
time, because
Yeah.
then, like, if it was otherwise, then you.
Yeah, we
I don't
could have
know.
just left. I don't know why. Oh, that's maybe what happened is we didn't check out. Is like we were just sneaking out, and then eventually they caught someone in our group, and like that's probably how we got busted. Yeah,
Dude, so good.
that one was like madness. And then the other time was just we were on like the Gili Islands in Bali. Have you been to them?
We didn't end up going. My daughter.
Oh.
We were going to, but my daughter got sick, and so. we didn't go.
Gotcha. Anyways, the bozo I was with decides that we should book a hostel, but if we put 2 people on a bed, it'll only be $4 instead of $8.
Oh, sick! Saving so much.
So we're
money.
sharing a twin bed. It is probably 95 degrees in that room,
Sucks.
and we're just like pure misery. And I remember like at one point just like going in the shower and like running the water on me, and it like the water wouldn't even get cold, and I'm just like, that was the most tired I've ever been in my whole life, was that night.
Oh, the worst
I mean-
too. When you just want to fall asleep so bad, like you're so tired.
Yeah,
But the circumstances, like I feel like I felt that way. My visa didn't come through in time for a trip to Vietnam.
Oh,
And so I got stuck in the San Francisco airport.
yeah.
And I was like, well, I'll just chill here till my visa goes through, and then I'll book another ticket. And it didn't go through for like 2 days, and I was literally just sleeping in the airport.
Gosh.
And I kind of was the same, where I was like, I'm so tired.
Yeah.
But I've also been sitting in the same spot for like forever. Anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you're just so tired. You want to
Yeah.
just sleep in a normal bed so bad.
Yeah,
You
you're
just
making
can't.
so many memories come back to my mind. I'm like,
Dude.
I got stuck in Hong Kong for 3 days trying to get a visa. Well, all Colby and Alex and all our friends were in Shanghai, and that was crazy. Or one time I fell on my moped in Vietnam. I was by myself. Phone had no service. Like middle of the road, like middle of an intersection. Like
What? Did the
times
scooter
I
break?
thought my life could have died. No, the intersection was super long, and I was going across, and someone was also going across, and like we just collided and it fell on the ground. And I'm just like, if I would have died, like no one would have known
You're just
where
gone.
I was.
All
where
of a
to
sudden,
go.
you're just
Like,
gone.
Just a memory. Yeah,
So
that's the
gnarly.
fun part. Like like so many stories like that. Or I was taking a taxi back in Vietnam, 3 hours, fall asleep, 2 hours in, wake up, we're on a dirt road. I'm like, this is the end of my life. It was a good run.
I feel like that's like the definition of Vietnam too.
Yeah,
I feel like I don't know. Even them, like Vietnam, nobody speaks English there either.
No one.
So you're like doing translations all the time,
Yeah,
but
and they
you
don't
kind of
quite
know where
work.
you're going. But
Yeah.
then you end up on some super random road.
Yeah. And those are the funnest. Like, where's your favorite continent to travel to?
Honestly, I've mostly traveled to Southeast Asia.
That's
Like,
the best place.
It's so fun. Well, because my wife just loved, like, we were trying to just escape winter every winter from Utah.
Oh, smart.
So we would just rally over there somewhere.
yeah.
But for sure, like, it's hard. Yeah, probably like Asia in general. Like,
Yeah.
even on the top of my list is Japan. I've never been to Japan. But
Oh, it's
top
the
of my
coolest.
list.
Yeah, I always say Southeast Asia. Like, I always recommend it to people because if you can get a cheap flight like to Bali, when you're there, or Thailand, you can live like a king for like
sure.
a private villa with a pool. If you get a group, it's like $20 a night a person. Like, it's so affordable. A scooter rental is like $6 a day. Like,
We legit in Bali booked a place month to month for $1,000 a month. 3-bedroom, 3-bath, all marble floors, our own pool, house cleaner twice a week, pool cleaner twice a week, laundry twice a week.
Crazy.
$1,000 a month.
And it's 3-bedroom.
It was 3-bedroom,
So like,
3-bath.
yeah, like I always say another way to travel cheap is like in groups, because like an Uber is now a fourth the price, and like
totally.
that is what, 6 people. 1,000 divided by 6 is what, less than $200 per person for a month in a private villa in Bali. Like
So
when you
sick.
break it down that way, you're like, oh yeah, that's super affordable.
So affordable.
Yeah.
Well, and food is more affordable, especially in countries where they're less visited. Like Vietnam is way less visited than Thailand, for instance.
Totally, yeah.
So like Vietnam, we were paying like for a huge bowl of pho, like a quarter.
Yeah,
It's
like crazy.
What?
Yeah,
How are you making this for a
Yeah,
quarter?
how much does it cost to make if that's what you're selling it for?
It's like, what?
And I love the like foreign feeling of Asia. Like, I think that's what I love about traveling, is like how everything feels so foreign and your eyes are just opened, and it's like you're so inspired by everything. Like in Asia, it's like here I couldn't notice any street sign, or like I drive down State Street every day
Totally.
and I couldn't tell you the businesses on the side. But like when you're traveling, it's like that street sign is so interesting to me, and like that lamppost, like everything is so like it's like almost like art, you know, just because it's like abnormal.
For sure. Lately, we've been trying to figure out what kind of content to post on our socials and stuff.
Yeah, yeah.
And I've just been going back to our trips and just looking at all the weird videos that I took of things. Like the one that we posted today, we were at like a convenience store, and there was a candy called X Soft Milk. We're like, what is
It's
X
so
Soft
crazy.
Milk?
Yeah, yeah.
Or there was another one that it was like a bunch of things you can't ship. And it was like, no shipping like weapons, no shipping guns, no shipping pets. And for pets, they had like a couple exotic birds and a orangutan. Like you can't ship any monkeys. It was like, what?
Yeah, yeah.
You just can't?
What one person tried to ship a monkey?
Yeah, who is
now it's
shipping
on the
a
side.
monkey?
Yeah.
Anyway, just things like that it's like
Yeah.
just constantly.
Yeah.
Or like the most traditional is like somebody that has like a fridge on their scooter.
Totally.
And it's so common. Like every
Yeah.
day you'll see somebody with something weird on a scooter.
Yeah.
It's like, what?
Or like I love like the grocery stores and like gas stations in foreign countries. Like they're just so fun to me.
For sure.
Like any random candy I've never seen before, I'm like, we have to try that and that and that and that. Like,
And fruit too.
Yeah.
Like it's weird. Here we like have just our fruit. There's like strawberries and bananas and oranges, you know?
yeah, yeah.
And there it's like, oh, what
Star
is
fruit and
this?
this and
like
yeah.
what?
Yeah.
Or like durian, the king of fruit.
yeah.
Never heard of it till I went to Vietnam, you know?
Never heard of that either. Yeah.
You
that's
never heard
cool.
of durian?
Mm-mm.
Durian is this. It's illegal to have in a lot of buildings in like
Interesting.
in Asia because it smells so bad.
Oh.
It literally smells like poop.
Yikes.
But then it tastes. It's like really sweet. I didn't love it, but they call it the king of fruit.
Cool.
Anyway,
That's
you'll have to
rad.
try it. You'll have to try the poop fruit, dude.
Yeah, yeah. Maybe. We'll see.
I want to do a video where we try like we just import a bunch of weird stuff like that. That it's like, okay, this one's supposed to smell so bad,
Yeah.
but I'm like, where do I film that?
Good question. We
Not
have to
in
go
my
to the
office or
different
my
country.
house.
Yeah.
Anyway, so I guess we got to go to that country to do it.
Mm-hmm.
So we covered a couple of the worst experiences.
Yeah.
Do you have a couple of like the best experiences that come to mind?
Yeah. I have like 3 in my head that are all kind of like very different, but I'll go through them quick. Like the first one is we were in Paris and we were there for Bastille Day, which is like their 4th of July. So like fireworks on the Eiffel Tower.
Cool.
The next day, my dad's friend was like, oh, the World Cup's going on. Like there's some watch parties around town. Like you should go to them. Like they're pretty fun. And I'm like, what should we do today? Like we had no plan. I'm like, my dad's friend said this is going on. We wake up the next morning. The entire city is shut down to watch the World Cup. Like streets filled with people. Everyone has a flag, like faces painted. Like me and Jackson get up and we're just like, okay, let's go try to get on the Eiffel Tower lawn. There's like police there. Like we're like literally just waiting in like the crowd to get in. And then everyone starts running. And I'm like,
What?
this is probably what people, when there's like a bad emergency, feel like. Like that's what
Yeah.
I thought was going on. And the police had just thrown like tear gas because
What?
people weren't like listening to them. Like they're like, stop trying to get in, and people were like pushing, so they just tear gassed everyone. And we just like
What?
sprinted down the street, and then we just were like walking around the streets, so many people out. And then France won, and literally like people had this car right by where we were on the street, flipped the car over. They like bend the street sign over, and like a bunch of guys just pick up the street sign and just like just go running down the street, like people everywhere. And like there's
Just losing their
then
minds.
we go to like by the Arc,
Mm-hmm.
shoulder to shoulder, the whole Champs-Élysées or whatever that street's called, you know. And it was like the whole city was just celebrating this all night long. It was like nothing I've ever experienced, and I don't think it'll like ever be topped. And like the photos from that day are like the coolest thing ever. There's like
I bet.
flare guns and like, oh, it's so cool.
Dude, that's
probably my
so
favorite day I've
rad.
ever had traveling. And now after that, I'm like, we need to travel for more like events, like when things are going on. Like, have you been to the full moon party in Thailand? Just like things that are like, it just feels so special because you're like part of something and like part of history in a way, you know? It's
Totally.
Like, or like running of the bulls, like I really want to do that. Or like just those festivals that only happen once. Like, I think it's such a cool feeling.
I feel like it's similar to like once you get a ton of money, buying a Ferrari isn't interesting anymore.
No.
Like buying some one of one Ferrari is interesting,
Yeah.
or doing a barn find of something a car that they thought didn't exist anymore. You know,
or like sitting front row at this, you know, fight. That's a huge deal. Like that's
sure.
what like people really want is like those experiences.
And I feel like now that you've traveled a bunch, that's like the next level. It's like, okay, the point now is to have experiences that no one can have, you know?
Yeah, or not no one, but just like
or
feel more special, you know?
Or you have to organize it to
it's
do
like
it.
Anyone can walk around New York any day, but like we were there on the 4th of July and like watched the Macy's Day fireworks from like the top of a skyscraper.
So
and, like
rad.
that was like magic, you know?
Yeah.
Like, just little things like that I think are so cool.
Dude, that's so rad.
Yeah.
It's a fun thought. Because it also is like, I feel like booking a trip, you can just procrastinate it forever.
Yeah.
But maybe also just finding cool destinations is a way that like can give you motivation. Because you're like, oh, well, this is when this is happening.
Yeah.
So I have to figure it out.
Yeah.
I done that even for like, I don't know, there's like events in Utah that I haven't done it. I've wanted to do that same thing. Like even that lantern thing. It's like not even that far away from here.
Yeah.
What's that called again?
Lantern Fest? I don't remember. I think
I
there's
don't
a
remember
few.
either. But it's a fun idea to think of, instead of specific destinations, specific events in those destinations.
Yeah, totally.
Well, let's jump. You ready for the answers?
I'm ready.
I know this is what you've been thinking about the whole time.
I'm nervous.
All right,
I'm like
you ready?
usually pretty good at like trivia, and like I feel like I epically failed this.
Dude, I asked you if you wanted to go hard or not. All right, so which country is the setting for The Sound of Music?
Switzerland.
Austria.
Same thing. Oh my gosh.
Way close. Way close. Which country's passport is considered the most powerful because citizens can visit over 190 destinations visa-free?
I'm so interested what this will be. U.S., but I don't think it is. It's probably like Antarctica or something dumb.
Japan, dude.
Japan, interesting.
Yeah, I didn't think that either. Like, that was surprising to me. Yeah, that one's rad. Which one has the weakest? Only 27 visa-free destinations.
India.
Afghanistan.
Okay,
So
I was going to say
I
Afghanistan
know.
or Iraq, but I didn't know if that was like...
I know.
Whatever.
So I debated not doing those questions for
Yeah,
that
yeah.
exact reason. It's like, you don't want to feel like prejudice.
That,
you know?
that feels wrong to say like Iraq, but that's honestly what I was going to say. I promise.
You,
and I
Iraq
still would have
would've
been wrong.
Yeah, wrong anyway, but close. Afghanistan. Which U.S. airport has the worst TSA wait time?
I think I said Detroit.
The EWR in New Jersey.
Oh, people hate that
Newark
airport.
Liberty International.
People hate... Is that the... No, LaGuardia.
LaGuardia.
What's the one that's
people-
privately owned? LaGuardia?
I think LaGuardia.
Okay.
So that one people
I know
also,
people don't like either of those.
for sure. Yeah, so the one in New Jersey's,
Interesting.
who knows how they figured that out, but
Yeah.
apparently. And then which one has the best, which USA airport has the best TH?
It's
I'm going to
actually
read that one more time.
TH.
Which U.S. airport has the best TSA wait time reported?
I said Atlanta, and the more I think about it, it's probably like some tiny airport.
You want to change? You can still change if you want.
No, I'm sticking with Atlanta.
This says Salt Lake City International Airport.
Heck yeah.
Pretty hyped on that.
Yes, that's
People
awesome.
don't know that's like 40 minutes from
Okay,
here.
but do you have pre-check?
No, so this is the thing.
You don't have pre-check?
We just made a video about pre-check. We've done all this stuff. It's $75 for 5 years.
5 years. Which, if we break that down, it's $1 a month.
Which also it
$1 a
is,
month.
You don't have to pay for your kids.
Yeah, no.
So if both
they're
parents
under
have it,
18.
you just go through.
Yeah,
It's like, what? So $150 for 5 years for me and my wife and whole family to go.
$1 a month. Is
They
what that comes out to.
we also she did a test and it It wasn't at. It was at JFK. Caitlin and her husband were coming back. She had TSA pre, and he didn't.
Yeah.
And it took him, I think, like 40 minutes, and it took her 15. So,
I don't
and
know
even
how you don't have
15 was pretty
pre-check.
long.
It's like the biggest hack.
I know. I really should.
You just go to Staples here in Provo,
Mm-hmm.
and they you give them your your passport or your birth certificate and your license,
Mm-hmm.
and they just
done.
Yeah,
I've heard, and it comes in 3 to 5 days.
Yeah, you should.
I literally
go
watched
today.
a video on it today.
You should go today and get it done.
Okay, done.
Because it'll change it. Like, not only like the line part, but like you walk through, it's so much more chill. Like, there's not like
you don't have to take off your shoes.
People with 10 kids and like whatever. Yeah, you just put your bag. You don't have to take any electronics out, any shoes off, any jackets. Like, you just set your stuff, walk, get your bag. So clutch.
See, and I always have a camera.
Yeah.
And I get stopped often because of like
I've
camera
never been
equipment.
stopped in pre-check.
Yeah, I gotta go do it.
Yeah, you do. And then clear is the other thing.
And clear is even better, but it's only in select airports.
Yeah, and you got to skip the line. So then you skip the line and you get pre-check. But if you don't have pre-check, you skip the line, but you still got to take everything out.
Do you know how much clear is?
I think it's $190 a year, but if you have the American Express card, they cover that.
Oh, really?
So like the Amex Platinum is like another card I could like sell door to door. It's like $700 a year, but you get 200 airline credit, 200 hotel credit, 200 Uber credit, pre-check credit, clear credit. Like, you get so many benefits that like you would use.
Huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, I have the next one below that.
Oh.
The I don't know, the gold one.
Oh, gotcha. Does it? I feel like it might have some of the same benefits.
I'm sure it does.
Yeah, you should check into it.
Yeah, I should, because maybe it covers that, or maybe even TSC pre or something.
Yeah.
It's good to know, dude.
I'm like passionate about it. I'm like, you need pre-check. It changes your life.
Yeah, we're gonna go. So the cool part is you need to meet Caitlin. You'd like her a lot. So she's lived in a ton of different countries. Her husband's from Portugal. He was raised in Portugal and Abu Dhabi.
Oh, nice.
And so his family lives in Abu Dhabi now. They run like a branding agency.
Wow, that's cool.
But he's waiting for his green card, and then like his parents have like a big farmhouse in Italy, so we're gonna go chill there.
So fun.
It's a olive farm, so they're gonna make their own olive oil and stuff. Which is sick.
That's cool.
But I feel like once he gets that green card, which should be any day, we're gonna start booking some really rad trips, and I'll just bring my family with me.
Yeah,
we're legit thinking about like homeschooling and stuff. So we're just sick of. My kids are old enough that they're in school now.
Yeah,
and it's so
like
stupid.
We can only travel summer or 2 other weeks of the year,
or take them out of school, and then it's like weird. And literally, my daughter was crying this morning because she didn't want to go to school, and it's like, I feel like she'll learn better just traveling and seeing the world anyway.
Yeah,
but
as long as she gets social skills.
yeah, we'll have her interact with other children.
Yeah,
foreign children.
Perfect.
It'll be perfect.
Yeah.
Rad, dude. Well, thanks so much for coming on.
Wait, was that all of them?
Yeah, that was all 5.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah, that was the 5th.
Salt Lake City, shout out.
Salt Lake, dude. Freaking killing it.
I should have known.
Honestly, I'm
0 for 5. I'm doing great.
You're the first 0 for 5. Just
no! Which one do people usually get right?
Well, we do different questions every time.
Oh,
so
gotcha.
These were...
That makes me feel a little better.
Yeah, these were hard questions.
Okay.
So I went hard with you.
Gotcha.
But
well, now I know.
Yeah. For the next time you come on, I'll do the same questions, and you'll look so smart.
And I'll look so smart.
Right, dude. Well, thanks for coming on.
Thanks for having me.
Was so sick.
Yeah. See the world. It's worth it.
And that's today with Tristen Ikaika. Honestly, way hyped on it. I feel like we barely scratched the surface of everything that he's done in his life. We didn't really cover his business. He makes awesome rings. The link will be in the show notes as well. He went on Shark Tank, and he's just had a pretty wild life. So we'll have to have him on again and talk about more of that stuff. But if you like this, go ahead and subscribe. We come out with podcasts like this every other week. Safe travels.